Hello and welcome back to Tyranny. Let's start with talking with Merchant here. Oh, a Fatebinder. Gracious! Did you go for you want to speak to Master Jaspos first, of course. I need to lower the volume. Okay, now should be fine. Of course I'm gonna take some of your stuff.
Sorry, I can't.
Yes, you can. Denizen, so nothing more talking about. I get it. There's lots to see here. Trespassers, shameless in their courtesy. They sicken me. No need to be so dramatic, Barik, really. Wait, we picked up blue shoes, and I'm intrigued by that. Heavy armor? Just equipped by me, so no, nothing new. Let's walk all around the place for now. Merchant, can we? No. Walk stuff, okay. And jump
Sorry,
over,
I can't.
over here. And you found something as well. We'll go back there, of course.
The water sounds calmer here, and yet as deep as the sea.
Arranged at angles that recall the sigil of Gravelight, these crystals shimmer with the collected glow of what little radiance from Terrato's grave filters into these depths. A bearded, weathered figure stands by the pool's edge, eyes closed in concentration. His face, uncharitably weathered from years of sun and wind, is a collection of deep, intertwining creases retted by brittle-looking grey mane. One disapproving eye snaps open as you approach. Of all the shriveled barnacles to find you... By Carlos's swollen tit, you? What of Camberil, Hagrivar? Don't tell me you're all that's left. Oh, let me talk. They fought the good fight, but fell to Cairn at the well. What's your excuse? How would you slither your way here? They're dead? So the militians have fallen and you're all that's left? Fuck us all! Carlos really has won. And it didn't slither, it was more of a surreptitious crawl. Speaking of lowly vermin, what are you doing in this low life? Need me to give you two a moment? A moment? Hardly. I can think of the last time Mockstaff has kept up his banter for more than a minute or two. Ever since you aged into that face of a worn tangerine, we've all had problems keeping things up around you. Speaking of improbable feats of tumescence, is that little apex boy of yours still ramming your stern on the regular? Are we done with the spatter? I've been telling everyone I was the last tidecaster in the tiers. I don't think you understand what a difficult moment this is for me. That line about me being the last of tidecasters worked wonders on the young and eager to please ladies. But you, he points to Eb, what happened to that husband of yours, huh? Or as you called him, Mockstaff completes his sentence by holding his two hands apart at about a wingspan of his shoulders. Aldenos died of his wounds from the Battle of the Gates of Judgment. How about you, I can only assume half the reason you're here is to find some new apprentices and fuck them. That's what I'll do. Enough. Eb, you can gossip with your friend some other time. Turning her head slowly, Eb looks at you with a scowl. I assume someone pointed you towards me to speak for the settlement. If there are matters to discuss, then so be it. I may not like it, but I do lead these people. Frankly, only because nobody else can. That stone-strutting fool Jaspos will talk himself into believing he's up to the task, but don't believe his bluster for a moment. Anyway, I'll just ask the question everyone's wondering. What are your intentions with us? Oh, sorry, I need to read it. I haven't decided yet. I have questions for you first. Very well. What does a Fatebinder want with this old Tidecaster? What do you do here as one of the leaders? He shakes his head. I'm the only true leader, as I've said before, but I won't belabor the point. He clears his throat. 3 years ago, I stumbled across these old walls and very quickly found I wasn't alone. A clutch of hungry and sick tearsmen had stumbled upon this enclave as well. I had come here to escape Chaos's forces, but I'm nothing if not driven by noblesse oblige. I decided I would weigh anchor for a bit and help out. His staff dips into the pool at his feet, sending ripples across its surface. Water was both the problem and the solution. These refugees were surrounded by it, but I couldn't drink it without picking up whatever old walls-induced disease lived within it. Withering rot, we call it. What's... Okay, let's let him continue. To a Tidecaster, these are trivial matters. As long as I'm here, making a solution to purify the water is a simple matter. I make life here possible. It's a difficult burden, but I'm honored my talents are put to good use. Tell me about the Tidecasters. She didn't wax nostalgically already? With a nudge to his staff, the old man glares at Eb. Apparently my information is out of date. I sure thought I was the last of our school, but apparently I hadn't looked under the rock you've been calling home. We are the students of Occulted Jade, Archon of Tides. She was the one of the founding pioneers of the Tears, and her school has been the longest-running institution of learning in the peninsula. Don't listen to what the sages say. What have you been doing since the school's departure? I spent the first few span dealing with some unfinished business. A half-dozen sages had wronged some friends of mine, and I'll admit, vengeance occupied me for a time. When Chaos's forces came, I decided to stay far from the beaten path. I set out to the mountains to find privacy. This place was serendipity writ large. When others stumbled upon this place, it somehow shifted from hovel to home. I did not expect or ask for more responsibility of caring for these people, but now that I wear it, the mantle is comforting. What did you do in the school before the war? What was your title exactly? I don't think we ever had a ceremonial office for the instructor most dedicated to diddling the students. Oh, come off it. You enjoy that privilege as much as I did. Besides, they listen more closely if you make them feel special. Provost of Antiquities was the official title. My life's work was the curation of the school's past. The relics, the sermons of Occulted Jade, the life stories of Tidecasters, elders past, that sort of work. My personal interest has always been the fluid magics of our school. Most of the school embraces the mighty power of Gravelight. I almost can't blame them. For me, water, mist, ice, and fog have always been more immediate, more real, more worthy of understanding. Why didn't you live with the others? I was the one of the few to stay, and why not? This is my home. I don't care about Chaos's war or the slaughter sport of these Archons, but I also wasn't about to sail west to die of starvation on the high seas. The promised lands are a lie. The ocean goes onward, or maybe you fall off the edge, or wrap around to the east coast of Terratus and land right in Chaos's lap. If I'm to die, let it happen in my father's coast and my mother's land. How do you purify the water? It's impossible to convey the intricacies, but suffice it to say that I must infuse water with great light energy. This, combined with trace amounts of alcohol and beastman blood, counteracts the mortifying effects of the old wolf's water. I see that look in your eye. Worry not. The beastmen willingly give these vital fluids when they can. It is a tiring process, but it produces clean and restorative water. Jaspos's product is an amateur's imitation and will never sustain this place in the long run. That's why I've taken on insipid moniker as my apprentice, to safeguard this process. And unlike most, she knows just when to stay out of my way. What should I know about Jaspos? His eyes glaze over at the mention of his rival's name. If only that rock pounder would just shut up! He loves the sound of his own voice. He grips the wrapping on his waist, squeezing it with a clenched fist. Unfortunately, his forge is on the upper level, so his soliloquies flow down here to ensure my misery. This place has better acoustics than the Academy of Tides. Lucky me. He thinks because he can cleanse the water, not as well as I do, mind you, that he can pontificate at all hours of the day. I nearly drowned myself once rather than listen to one of his tirades, But I knew the moment my body was discovered, he would be raining another righteous speech about cowardice down upon my corpse. That wouldn't do. Look, I'll say it plain. Jaspos has a big mouth and he takes incessantly about transforming Bastard's wound into something great. But the truth is that he's just out for himself. He slumps his staff into the ground, mouth quivering as he speaks. I built this place from nothing, and he thinks he can come in and claim it when the hard work has already been done? Not on my watch. I heard a beast woman here once held sway. He cocks his eyebrow. Ah, Riftalem. Curious case, that one. She pulled her way into these caves a year ago for cubs. A vicious fighter, for certain. Bane of the Bane, I like to say. She took charge of the tribe, but had a curious way about her. The most fascinating beast I've ever met. Oddly pensive, strangely polite, prone to bathing. Things really got unusual when, after a bloody dust-up of the Bane, Riftalon healed some other members of the patrol with her touch. I can say heal with a straight face. Those who had their wounds tended by Riftalon felt spectacular for a few days, but by the week's end, the whole host of the new maladies overtook them. Riftalon was a mystic? She claimed she wasn't, and I've never known a beast to downplay her strength. But as sure as water's wet, she could mend wounds with a mere touch. So she must have had some training, having seen what her healing did. Hindsight tells me why she would be hesitant to discuss her missing training. What sort of problems happen to those who are healed? It started subtle, really. Folks treated by Riftalon just slept a little less each night, at first claiming they felt too hale and hearty to sit in bed. Later, they would be exhausted from days spent waking, yet unable to sleep. The old tidecaster shaves his way through with a sigh. And after days of being sleepless, other things would start to go. Tempers, memories. Worst of all, a few who could work sigils lost the talent. Imagine spending an afternoon listening to Jaspos droning on about the virtues of pulverizing stone. You'd be frustrated and exhausted, somewhat murderous in intent. But for some reason you can sleep. Night turns to day, which turns to night. We took to calling those affected the sleepless, and warned others of what became from those cured by Riftalon. What became of Riftalon? A few span back, a patrol of this favorite were in the mountains, searching areas struck by Karen's magic, so they said. Well, they stumbled on our refuge, and being disfavored, were shocked and appalled not just by our squatting in the old walls, but by the beastmen living with us. A few even deferred to Riftalon during the parley, and seeing humans look to a beastwoman was rather appalling to those iron thugs. The meeting quickly turned violent. Man leads beasts, not the other way around, Such things should not require an explanation. We bested this favored, but Riftalon fled during the altercation. I guess combination of guilt from warping her fellows with magic and a feeling of shame that her presence roused this favor to attack us. I have no proof, but I think Riftalon fled to save us from her. There's plenty of folks who hate her, but I, for one, don't think her actions were ever malicious. Protecting this place is all she cares about, and she probably realized she had to go to save us all. Regardless of her specific motivations, I am certain she fled deeper into the old walls, not topside. Someone claims she dove into the water, another claims she accesses a teleporter. Either way, she hasn't been into the village since the disfavored arrival. If anyone can survive the depths of the old walls alone, it's Riftalon. That said, she's been gone a while now, and I'm not sure I'd wager money on her survival to date. And what happened to the Sleepless? When Riftalon fled, almost all of the Sleepless went with her. Whether they chased her out of anger or fear of being deserted, I don't know. You might find a few here in the refuge, but most of them have taken their chances in the depths of the old walls. Isley, a woman whose life is already marred by the tragedy of wedlock to Jaspos, was the last person healed by Riftalon. She is still cogent. Who knows how long that will last? Poor woman. The Sleepless grow more detached from reason with each day spent waking. I half imagine most went into the old walls to find death at the towns of the Bane. If I lost the ability to rest, if my magic was taken from me, I'd probably do the same. Okay, we will not decide the fate of this campsite yet. There's no reason to do that yet. We still need to speak with Jaspos. Oh, a dagger. They handled themselves well enough, but it would be better to seal the breach in their defenses. Oh, that looks nice. Alma in the letters of a Scarlet Fury attentively polishes a bronze blade. Okay, so there's nothing you want to talk about, apparently.
Sorry, I can't.
Really nothing? Really? Okay. Maybe we should take a rest.
Sorry, I can't.
To me, it doesn't feel that crucial that you take rests, like full 8-hour rests. We've been doing fine without it, really. I already spoke to one man in charge. I guess we do need to decide the fate. Is that what? Yeah, it's a beast cub. The heavy odors of musk and urine loiter around these matted straw nests, making their proximity to the sleeping tents to the west all the more surprising. A broad-shouldered woman in disfavored raiment dangles against the nearby column, suspended by her wrists. Though still garbed in iron breastplate of her unit, she is without helmet and appears unusually at ease in her compromised position. A nearby settler engages in friendly conversation with the disfavored. She peers down at him, listening with dutiful patience. The last lure hooked that trout just fine, but it took the whole thinking downstream with it when the knot gave out. I rubbed the line several times, just as you said. You aren't fibbing me, are you, Sophia? What stays at your hand, Fatebinder? We must write this in justice immediately. Let's listen to it. This is no time for games of intimidation. Jasper's bones should be strong enough for trout. No way the hook broke in its mouth. You probably didn't wrap the line around itself enough times. Remember what I said, it's at least 5 twists around before you looped it and tie it off to form the clinch. Just try it, it will work. And if the fish bite, I expect you to save some of the trout for me. You would. I'll give that knot another try. It's too bad you can just tie the damn things for us. What is this soldier's crime? Her? Oh, it's hardly my place to say. Far be it for me to posture like I'm a leader or a lawbringer. The settler seems amused just to be consulted. Looks like you have a company. Talk later, Sophia. The settler turns to you wearing an uncertain smile. Good hunting, then. As the settler turns away, the bound soldier takes note of your approach. Tell Sophia to find you in the cesspool of trespassers. He shakes his head. Worry not, we shall release you from this bondage at once. Wait, who the... Barik? Is that you? No, please, leave me be. I'm sworn by duty to slay these folks, and sworn by honor to see to their safety. It is easier to have no choice in the matter. So you would rather stay up there? Even if you set me free, I'm too hungry to fight. It's the only thing I would have the mind to do. The time will come when I can free myself, and I will grab the opportunity with both hands. She clenches her pale fingers into fists. I would salute an officer of the court, but I'm somewhat indisposed at the moment. How did you end up on that column? A few span back, after Cairn was finally declared rogue, the general wanted folks looking for what made Cairn lose his sanity, or his loyalty, depending on your outlook. My unit played escort for a team of Earthshakers as they retraced Cairn's journey through the tears. We were headed to the gates of judgment and came across a crevasse which happened to be... Well, she gestures upwards with her head. A middle-aged woman walks by while clutching a woven basket, giving Tell Sophia a wave. The disfavored soldier nods in return. Good day, Eucho! She watches the passing settler before turning her attention to you. You sure seem to be on good terms with the locals. They're rather lovely folk, despite all of them being Cairo's smoking scum deserving slow deaths. She attempts a limited expression of a shrug. Where was I? We paused to investigate, only to find this nest, this hive, trespassers living with beasts as equals, all of them an abomination. There was no choice but to put them to the sword. We fought well, but our advance fell apart when that Argan threw up his arms and surrendered. He broke ranks and left us exposed. If I hadn't been knocked senseless, I would have executed him myself. Woke up, hoisted on this wall, and I've been here ever since. How are you still alive? Graven Ash protects. The General's aegis can sustain us through far more trying circumstances. She maneuvers her shoulders in a dim approximation of a salute. My wrists are mangled, and I've been tired and hungry for longer than I can remember, but I'm far from death's door. The settlers feed me just enough to keep going. She glances down at her dirt-encrusted armor. I'm sure I smell worse than a beastman dung heap, though. Why don't the settlers just execute you? They have, in a sense. The beastwoman, leader of the local pack, ordered that I be strung up until dead. Guess she didn't understand Ash's aegis, so who's laughing now? Nobody wants to anger the resident bane hunters, so the beasts must have their way. I've had plenty of time to get acquainted with the locals while I perish. It's almost a pity they're all doomed then, Carlos. Okay, I'll leave you be then. If that's what you want to do.
Think I found something.
Thank you, yeah, great. But I don't want to be down here just yet. So this is, they have teleporters and I laughed at them on the photo of that. But in any case, I will end this part here. And next time we'll talk with the other leader. And so for now, thank you very much. Stay alive and see you soon. Bye.